YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Eisender's Tactical, back with another video. Hope everybody's doing well. You guys saw the thumbnail. I'm not sure what I said, but man, why people love Glock? I mean, we're gonna get into it real quick. Why do people love Glock? Man, for the most part, you gotta get down to the basics of it. When Glock broke through, it wasn't a lot of companies doing that polymer striker fire pistol. That's the bottom line right there. I don't have all the original Glocks, to demonstrate for you guys. I'm not a Glock king. You can go to Johnny Glocks or go to Yoki Stirrup or GHG Hustle. Those tubers got every last one of the Glocks you can imagine. I don't have that many Glocks. I just appreciate Glock, love Glock. And as far as all that stuff go, fanboy, whatever, man, you can say what you want. I appreciate the firearm for what it's worth, man. That's basically it. However, Glock 17, the one that broke through, made everybody popular, made it very popular, law enforcement, military. And then shortly after, you got the Glock 19 and all that. So, and everybody knows the history. Each number is a patent. The Glock 18 was actually was it like was the story? Was it a shower curtain rod or something? So yeah, Gaston had all these patents and stuff. So that's why the numbers kind of throw everybody off. It doesn't really represent the caliber at all. But yeah, why is Glock so popular, man? For the most part, man. Let's start with the YouTube. I'm in a safe control environment. You're gonna see some firearms, and they're all gonna be unloaded. There'll be no mags in them. I might stick a mag in it to show something, but there's nothing gonna be going on. Safe control environment. I did click 18 and over for my video. This is a pre-recorded video, so nothing happened, okay? So let's go, here's my original Glock 19, Gen 3. Now, all my Glocks are Gen 3. A little bit of modification to them, took out the finger grooves and shaved down that trigger guard. But this is basically a Glock Gen 3, Glock 19, 4.06 inch barrel. This is the one that just really went crazy. The Glock 17 went crazy too. But why people like it though? There's several reasons why people like it. I'm gonna go from a shooter perspective, not a fan or not a celebrity perspective. I'm gonna say reliability, the fact that the military used it for so long and law enforcement used it for so long and had so many great results. It's been torture tested by many groups. Special forces, and it's really just a really tough battle pistol. I mean, it's definitely been proven on the reliability side. It's been proven also that you can run several different ammunitions up in here and it doesn't have to be perfect. It just really it'll run it. That's another element to it. But the first thing is we just got to call it what it is, man. The reliability. Let's just stop playing. The reliability of a Glock pistol is it's second to none. Now, before somebody jump up in here and get all crazy and say, man, Glocks have problems too, they jam it. Any machine that's mass produced, any part, any tool, any firearm, anything product that's mass produced, that's got mechanical moving parts, you're gonna have failure, okay? So calm down. Everybody, when I say it's reliable and you're not going to have any problems with it, I'm speaking from a perspective of probably like you're pumping out 20,000 of these Glock 19s and then you have 10 sendbacks or 100 sendbacks. I'll take that ratio. I'll take 100 sendbacks for every 20,000 pistols that's produced. I'll take 100 sendbacks. Hey, send it back and we'll fix it or give you another one. That's still a good quality control. But we know that ratio is much better than that. It's probably closer to 100,000 pistols on the assembly line pumping out, and then you get 100 of them come back. It ain't even close. So the reliability is the first part what make Glock so popular and why people like it. Now, let's get into, I'm just gonna keep it real. The second biggest part I'm gonna say, just for me, from my perspective, this is all from my perspective. I'm not no big super gun dude. I know everything about guns, Like I said, I don't even own every fucking Glock. But I would say, outside of reliability, I would say the second biggest reason why people like it is Now I'm speaking from a normal person, a normal firearm owner, not a Delta SEAL, not a Navy SEAL, not a Delta Force, not an Army Ranger. I'm not speaking from that perspective. I'm speaking from a consumer. I'm gonna say the popularity of it. It's just very popular. When you say Glock, it's synonymous with firearm. I mean, you say SIG to some normal people, they'd be like, "What is a SIG? What is that? Like, is that a fruit fly?" What I'm saying, like, staccato. What is that? Is that a female shoe? Is that a, you know what I'm saying? Like, nothing against those firearms. Beretta, wasn't that a TV show? Or, it's like, Canik, Canik, whatever you want to pronounce it, CZ, they're not synonymous. A normal person walking the street is not going to just think firearms. You name those things. Taurus, they're going to say, "Oh, is that your zodiac sign?" You see what I'm saying? But when you say Glock, you probably can go from ages 10 to 100 and they will know that you're talking about a pistol. And so I think that has to be part of why it is so popular, why people like it. I mean, unfortunately, that's just the way. It's kind of like if you said Nike, everybody know you're thinking about Nike shoes, or if you say Jordans, I'm saying J's, everybody know basketball shoes. I mean, it just Nike Glock is very similar in that aspect. It's kind of like iPhone. If you say Apple or Apple, everyone knows like you're talking about an iPhone or something like that. If you ask somebody what kind of phone you got, most people have an iPhone. I'm not saying that everybody has one. People got Androids and stuff like that. But you guys doing what I'm getting at. Popularity matters, right? Okay. And what made it popular, it matters too. What made this pistol so popular was law enforcement and the military. Okay. And then, there's other elements that made it popular. In the 80s, the rap stars, they all pretty much popularized this pistol. The movies popularized. Die Hard had a huge part. Bruce Willis had a huge part in making this firearm popular. With that one scene that it can go through metal detectors. It's plastic. They were talking about the polymer lower. They weren't talking about the upper. So that had a lot to do with it too. Now, I would go out and say the third one of the, I don't know how many reasons why it's popular, but I'm just naming reasons why I think it's so popular. Also, I would say the simplicity of it all. Now, you tell me I'm going to disassemble this, and I'm just going to show you a part of the reason why the simplicity, it took a person that was not a gunsmith or a person that was a gun person, and when they went to the gun shop, and then when the gun attendant broke the gun down for them and showed them all the parts and how to clean it, I think that really made it popular then, because at the time, when it first rolled off the market, 82, whatever, people were still rocking, revolvers and Berettas and, 1911s. And a lot of those aren't really that easy to tear apart and clean. Are they hard? No, but they're not as simple as this. So let me show you what I mean by how simple it is to disassemble. So here's your lower, and this is not a deep, thorough cleaning, but when the little lady down the street or the guy, the kid down the street was 21 years old, wanted to get his first pistol, and he walked into the gun shop, and then they started explaining everything, the parts to him, and everything. They had to be blown away that this is it. Like, really? Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, man, this is your lower right here. Now here's your trigger group right here. You got your feed ramp and your slide lock relief trigger right here. Firing this ejector right there, extractor. I mean, it's very, very simple. And then the fact that it's made out of polymer, so it's super light. Now, at the time, there was a lot of steel firearms coming off, which is not a bad thing. Steel is going to give you more stability. But when people saw this, and even when you clean a Glock, yeah, you want to tear all this apart and clean it all out real good. But the reality of the matter is you don't have to do all that to a Glock to keep it maintenance really well, especially if you don't shoot a lot. Now, military, law enforcement, those guys will always go into the range shooting. Yeah, they'll probably tear all that trigger group out and clean that down and wipe that connector down, get that all oiled up. But for a normal shooter who just, a guy or girl just goes to the range every now and then to shoot, you don't tear all that apart to clean this. You can just clean the top surface parts and just get up in there a little bit. Eventually you have to get up in there, but as long as you keep a little oil in these little tabs, and very simple. So that's your lower. And then you got your recoil spring, guide rod. And this is my stock Glock 19. Everything in here is stock. This is the guide rod that comes with it. And we'll get into other parts of what makes this Glock so popular again. So this is the guide rod, really simple, recoil spring, whatever you want to call it, recoil spring guide rod. Then you got your barrel right here, real simple barrel. And then you have your upper slide part right here. And then that's where your firing pin is inside of there, and your safety plunger right there. And that's pretty much it. And so when they did that, I think when that happened, when people went into the gun shop and they were like, okay, how do you clean it? What parts does this? What is that? And when they just saw these 4 parts laying there, they were like, wow, now granted, we know there's more parts. Like, of course, you can pop that back plate out and get to your firing pin and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not saying, but for total, I believe total is like 32 parts for a Glock pistol. And when you look at a 1911, maybe somebody can check me if I'm wrong, but I believe in 1911, it's more like 68, or it's almost double of the amount of parts for a Glock pistol. So I think that had a lot to do with it, the simplicity of how a normal person, not a Delta SEAL, nor Delta Force, Navy SEAL, Army Ranger, we're talking about a regular shooter, a person that want to have home defense, protection, whatever, that was very attractive to them, that I can just tear this apart, reassemble it, and get back in the game, clean my pistol, and I don't have to be a gunsmith. Now, with that being said, would also make the Glock pistol, I think, super popular. So we got reliability, right? We got popularity, right? We got easy to clean, work on, right? So gunsmithing, I guess we would call it, is very simple. Then shootability. It was an easy gun to shoot. I think you didn't have to, there was not a lot of moving parts. You didn't have external safeties and everything. Glock does have 3 safeties, unlike people think there's no safeties. There's one on the trigger right here. If you can see that little scallop right there has to be depressed otherwise the trigger does not go back. You have a drop safety up inside of here too. You have a drop safety up inside of there, a safety plunger, and those 2 work in conjunction. So that has to, you'll see if I push that and that drops the firing pin. Let's do it again. See, watch that firing pin. So if that doesn't get plunged down, that firing pin doesn't move. So that's a really great safety mechanism inside of the Glock pistols. And so with no external safety, that was another plus that I think Glock, how they nailed it. And that probably was due to the military being designed for a military pistol. They did that, I believe. They didn't want all that stuff hanging. In mine, the Gen 3s are pretty much all Austrian made. Now you have a lot of them now coming out of the state of Georgia, the Gen 4s and 5s. I'm not a huge fan of the Gen 4 and 5, not to knock it. I do have other Glock pistols that I want, but I want them in Gen 3. The only one I'm gonna get that's not gonna be Gen 3 is gonna be the Glock 19X. Now let me get back on topic. So now the other great part about the Glock pistol that I think was very attractive to people is that aftermarket support. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, from holsters, you got from holsters, this is tier 1 concealed, but there's every holster company, T-Rex Arm, We the People, this, that, blah, 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 Safari Land, everybody who makes a holster, you can go on a website and I guarantee you they'll make one for a Glock pistol. That's just facts. This is just not my opinion. That's just facts. All these parts can be aftermarket parts. You can buy everything aftermarket for this whole entire pistol. Aftermarket barrels, springs, slides, everything, lowers. And so here's my build. This is a Glock 19 with a Strike Industry slide. Okay, it has I put a ghost connector in there, knock that thing down to 3.5 pound trigger. Strike Industry flare magwell, Holosun 407C light. You got a rail for lights. You see what I'm saying? So you have tons sights. One of the first things people complain about is they don't like the sights on the Glock pistols because they're just plain 3-dot system. And then so people usually upgrade the sights. I did do that. That's the only thing that's not stock on here is I put these sights on it. But so the aftermarket support is ridiculous with Glock. And I think that was super attractive to a consumer because they didn't like this configuration. Let me put it back together again. If they didn't like this configuration, they can just go ahead and set it up how they want. And I think that's pretty cool because, that kind of goes back to relation to the automobile. When you buy a car and you put new rims on it, you change out the upholstery inside and you do all sorts of things to it to make it how you want it. And I think that was a real attractive selling point to the consumer, to the military person and all that, maybe not so much, but to a consumer, that was a really, this is a clear weapon use, that was a really good selling point, that you can go to several companies and buy Glock parts and deck your firearm how you want. So I thought that was pretty neat. Now, so the aftermarket support, we got that going. And another thing, safe direction, and another thing that I think it has to be stated that was great what Glock did was their mags. So they came out with their mags, and their mags is awesome. They're known to run, be very reliable. They have a metal liner inside of there. So you have polymer on the outside. When people first saw them, they were like, remember, everybody was used to the 1911s and all the Berettas with metal mags. So people saw this, they said, man, that cheap old mag, and woo, woo, woo. But then they didn't realize they had metal liners, so it was still durable and tough, but you had the polymer outside. And I thought that was brilliant by Glock. And also the price point for their mags, when people buy firearms, they don't realize some of those mags are super expensive. Whereas Glock factory mags are like 30 bucks, you know. Some places you can get them a little cheaper than that, and you can buy some of them used because they just don't fail. Now you do have the P mags that are similar to Glock mags. This is a 15 round P mag. This is a 10 round Glock factory mag. This one does not have metal liners, and that's why the P mags are a little bit cheaper, okay? Still run, and they pretty much made that for the Glock pistol, Magpul. Yeah, they jumped all over and said, we're gonna make one just for Glocks, but we're gonna cut a corner and not put a metal liner in there and knock the price point down. So that was pretty brilliant by Glock doing that. Their mags are definitely reliable. This is my 10 round mags when I was in California. This is all we can get. You cannot put an insert inside of these California mags. Inside of these 10 round mags, they're designed specifically to take that 10 round spring. So don't do that if you're thinking. They make 15 round mags. You know, the mag support is ridiculous. Then you got 17 round mags, okay? And then they also made their sticks, okay? So, and they're reliable, you know, so they're reliable. So I think that was a really big selling point, is the mag support. So if you got a Glock 26, for example, the shortest one, that's the micro compact, all these mags would fit inside of there. I mean, that's crazy. And all these mags would fit inside of here. All these mags would fit inside of Glock 17. All these mags, well, let me take that back. These won't fit in, this would fit inside of a Glock 17. These won't fit inside of a Glock 17 because it's too short. But these two will fit inside of a Glock 17. But all of these mags fit inside of everything smaller than a full-size Glock pistol. So I thought that was a really big selling point, easy for the consumer to find mag support, you know, find mag support and interchangeable with the mags. You don't have to worry being stuck like this mag only works for this pistol. And I think that was another big selling point for people buying Glock pistols, was the mag support. That's huge. You know, that's very huge. So if you had multiple Glocks, you can just run the same. That's why people, when they buy 9mm, they always get the 26. Usually, I don't have the 26, but 26 is beautiful in the sense that it takes all of the mags. And then once you move up, then you have to watch out for the length of the mag. So I think those are some pretty good points of why people chose Glock. And another point I want to bring up Glock, and it never comes up in conversation, but I think Glock gives a good box. I mean, you can go spend a whole bunch of money on some pistols, man. It's shocking how they just give you a cardboard box. I'm not gonna knock some companies, but y'all know some companies that just give you a cardboard box, spend $700, $800, and you get a cardboard box. Which brings me to the other point. Glock is affordable. A Glock Gen 3, Glock 19 right now, it's sub 500. And then you can get LE sales cheaper than that. I mean, when I was in California, they had LE Glock 19s going for $430. So, you know, and they still run. That's why they hold their value. So if you bought a Glock 19 Gen 3 today, you could sell that thing 10 years from today and still get $400 for it. That is incredible, in my opinion. And like I said, you know, the price point doesn't break the bank, because you can buy it in this format right here, and then you can turn it into this. This is really almost $1,100 Glock when you add all the accessories and the high sights and the holosun and the slide and the tungsten guide rod, the mag well, the grip. It's close to $1,200 now. In its original format, it was originally when I bought it, I ain't gonna lie, it was more like $590 with tax and FFL, probably about $610. But for the most part, right now in 2024, you can grab you a Glock Gen 3 19 Glock 19 Gen 3 sub 500. I'll stand on that. I'll stand on that. And it's an outstanding pistol. Okay. So, like I said, again, they give you a plastic case with snaps. I mean, that's something no one talks about. So Glock does give a good box. They give you a cleaning rod and they give you a load assist. This is not a speed loader. I hear people calling this a speed loader. It's not a speed loader. It's a load assist. So they give you a nice little box. I mean, worth mentioning because, again, I ain't going to name some companies, but, man, they give you a pretty crappy box spending a whole bunch of loot on them. So I think that's kind of lame. Now, if someone was curious, this is an actual speed loader. This is by Lula. This is a really good speed loader. If you guys are looking for a pistol mag loader, I would go with Lula. Very good loader. So I think that really says enough right there. Why Glock is so popular, why people like it, what made it really just kind of like kill the pistol industry, like really destroy the market. And then with the Gen 3 patent, they released it. Now you see everybody making a Gen 3 type striker fire pistol. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. It's an outstanding firearm, outstanding pistol. And I gave a few of the reasons why people like it and why it's so popular. Let me know what you guys think. That's just one man's opinion. I'm not sitting here trying to say go buy a Glock and Glock is the best, whatever. No, it's not. But it has its place, and it definitely is going to go down in history as probably one of the most legendary striker fire pistols ever made. Just my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think about this video, man. Like, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed content, and everybody stay blessed. Peace.